Okay, Spirit just I just had so many downloads. I call them downloads, my or upload, whatever downloads, because they come from on high into my spirit. You know, and I'm here in the below, and the above is you know what I mean. Anyways, so I want to talk about when you exit the matrix, and I want to use the example of the movie Matrix, right? But I also want to use some other examples. Like, there's a movie called Blink Twice. There's a movie called, I mean, there's a series called Westworld, and there's a show called Severance. Um, and then, what's that old school movie? Um, about the robots. They didn't know that they were. God, I forgot. Anyways, those are a good three examples though, and so three being the divine number, we're just gonna go with that. All of those movies highlight a the idea of forgetting, of the memory being erased, and trauma being done over and over again. And so each one of them had to break free. And breaking free requires a certain type of ruthlessness. But in every instance, there were people that were also victims of this memory erasing, but they wanted to forget. They wanted to stay into the programs because, oh my God, their fear is so great of going against those programs, of the having the pain of experiencing the pain of remembering, which is, I believe, is the reason why people unconsciously may develop, Alzheimer's, or is it dementia or Alzheimer's, the one of the when you forget, memory loss. And there's a certain fight that happens for that particular collective to remember. It's like, oh, if I remember this, then I will remember the pain that's associated with it, and I can't handle that. I remember there was a place where I I hated the fact that I could remember certain things and I couldn't remember other things. Like, I could remember what somebody said to me negatively over anything. You could say the most positive thing to me, but I'm going to remember this negative thing. Like, why? Why? That would keep replaying in my head. And it's like, it wasn't until I started becoming more solid in who I was and myself, and seeing who I was and loving and accepting and appreciating myself, and finding ways to flip the coin and perceive myself in a higher light than perceiving myself in the way that, the Matrix would label me as, right? Seeing myself as a higher being, as a purified heart, seeing myself through the eyes of the divine, and not through the eyes of the physical demonic reality. You know what I mean? You're not going to make me feel less than anymore, right? And so as I started feeling like that, those memories weren't so prevalent anymore. Like, somebody could say a negative thing, but now, oh no, I'm gonna fight for mine, baby. And so then you go through this evolution of, now you're defending who you are because you know you're somebody greater, right? And so now you're fighting with that, but then you become even more evolved because you're on a spiritual path, and that's the evolution. You're expanding who you are, right? And as you take this journey and you get more evolved and more accepting and more knowing of who you are as a whole being, not just I'm spiritual, or not just I'm in the world, or like, it's an integration, it's a whole thing, right? When you get to that place in your evolution, it's still a journey. Okay, let me be clear. But when you get there, you start to see you start to remember greater things. You start to remember things that are more serving. And so your memories change when you get on this spiritual journey. Like literally, it's so easy for me to flip a perception. I could be mad about something and oh my God, I could flip my perception so easy. Sometimes a little harder than others, depending on how attached I am. But remembering doesn't harm me anymore. I remember because I'm no longer a victim. So, me having a memory of this thing that happened to me when I was 3 by an authority figure that I love and trusted, or me having a memory of what happened to me when I was 5 or 7 or 9 or 13 or 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yes, major traumas happened in my life at all of those ages. Huge traumas that people would be like, yo, how are you not hurting other people right now? How are you not fucking lynching men and women right now? How are you not? How are you not a serial killer? How are you not on drugs? How are you not a prostitute? How are you not this? And people start to try to break it down like, how are you not this? How did that not break you? And so they come at it and they coming at it, they're not realizing that they're agents because they're not being responsible for their own power because they want to know how I'm doing it. They're focused on my path. They're not focusing on their own path, right? There's nothing wrong being inspired by my story, but it's something wrong with coveting my path and being envious of my path to the point where you're trying to um, you're so busy trying to figure out my life and that you're actually becoming a monitoring spirit or a spirit that uh, reflects interferences, in the flow. You don't want to be that person, right? That's constantly putting interferences in people's divine experience, right? You want to be that person. If you're going to be an interference, you're interfering with the matrix and you're helping remind them of who they are and their greatness. That's the only interference that needs to be happening. Any other interference, you need to take that on. Take it to God. Take it to your higher self. Take it there because right now I'm not your source. I'm not dealing with that shit. You're not bringing that shit to my doorstep. I didn't choose that. You're choosing that for yourself. You're not choosing to advance. You're not choosing to be responsible for your power. So now, because you're not choosing to be responsible for your power, now people of the matrix who want to control things and they want things to be a certain way and they're creating systems that keep systems of control going that create war and disaster so they can keep these systems going. You're unknowingly becoming a part of this system because these people and these entities come through these people, these thought forms come through these people because they're at that vibration, they're susceptible to this energy. And because you're not responsible for your own energy, then this thing this that's you're susceptible to when you're operating at that vibration will cause you to come at me, a light being, in a way of evil. You're helping to be an interference, and you're not realizing it because you're too busy trying to figure out how to get these legs. you know, I'm a caterpillar, right? And I got all, I mean, what is it? A centipede, right? And I got all these legs, and you trying to figure out how to get the legs that I got when you got 100 legs yourself. Your legs just do different things. Your caterpillar, your centipede legs take you somewhere else. You got a little twang going on. You got some colors to your body, your vessel, and so you may attract a different type of attention as the centipede that you are. And so trying to figure out what I got going on is not serving you. focus on how you getting them legs going, right? And your flow. Because when you stop to focus on mine, then you be falling all over the place. And then you don't know what it took for me to get here. You don't know when you're coveting someone else's life, you don't know what they had to go through to get there. You have no fucking idea. Okay? And so you have these people who are over here and they're agents. When I say agents, that means think of the Matrix and how all of those people, those were coming up against Neo and all of them who chose to exit out. And they were so bent on demolishing them. Because what you know the code, you broke the code. No, we can't let you infect others because then if you broke the code, then they're gonna know how to break the code. And if they break the code, then we can't have control. But the fourth one was on something totally different. Like, listen, there are people who want to break free just so they can live in heaven every day. They're not really trying to sit here and get in your way. Because really, when we operate how we need to operate, we put ourselves on a different timeline. We just literally are entering to save the people who want to be saved. But everybody can't be saved. Everybody's not going to be brought out of the matrix. Everybody's not going to exit out. Some people want to not remember who they are. They will fight for the matrix to be upheld because that is their comfort. That is what they know. It's too hard for them to get out and experience anything else. Why would I want to sit here and, like the first matrix presented, like, why would I want to sit here and be behind this raggedy ass computer and get prodded and shit when I could go eat steak? And so old boy went and he left. He's like, fuck y'all. He set them up and fucked up their plans just so he could go eat some fucking steak. And it's like, yo, I hope that steak is self-sustaining and it's good for you and it's worth it because you're no longer gonna be autonomous and have dominion over what you do. Yeah, you may think that you're gonna have dominion because you getting to eat these steaks. You got money, you got this, you got that, you got status, you got the respect of these people who really you shouldn't care to have respect from, but you get respect for them, so from them, so that makes you feel worthy, right? And so you're sitting here, you're thinking that that's heaven. You're like, this is the life because this is what you've been hypnotized to believe is the life. Like, oh, who wouldn't want to be here? Forget about all your problems. Forget about all the pain that you've sustained. You don't have to worry about that. You could come here and you could be on an island and you could just forget. It sounds attractive, right? And this is why in movies when they depict the devil or like the enticing energy, it always comes with gold and glitter and things that you want, desires, things that they've programmed in you to make you think that you want this. And they're like, oh, come on in. And they're drawing you in. How else could they get you in? They have to come at you with the very thing that you want. That's why it's not always great to talk to people about what you're envisioning or what you're building that you don't trust. People that are energies, people who aren't responsible for their emotions or their power, people who can take your words and twist the thing. There are people you don't want to tell about your goals and dreams to because these people, the monitoring spirits that come through these people, because these people aren't exactly the monitoring spirits. The spirits are coming through them, right? And they're watching you and they're seeing and they're like, oh, I heard that you had this dream. I heard that you wanted to get this done. So I'm going to send my goons in there and they're going to come disguised. And they're going to send these energies in. And they're going to be like, and it's going to appear as everything you want. Oh my gosh, this is happening. Oh my God. This is God sent. This is everything that I asked for, right? It's like, no, yeah, that's everything you asked for, but it comes with the price, baby. And you didn't know that you signed a contract with the energy you just received from, that you just accepted. Truth. With the energy you just accepted, you have made a deal. And so now you made this deal. This energy can call on you anytime it wants to. You done made the deal. It's like if you seen Princess and the Frog and how the Baron was, like he, which is not necessarily depicted correctly, but we're gonna just go with the essence of the example of what the energy, how it appears, not necessarily connecting it to the name, but that energy allowing you to see that how that works. It's like, oh, that man wanted to be the prince so bad that he had to do this, and that, and he didn't realize that, oh, his asking for green meant a green frog, or it's like you don't even realize what you're asking for. Like I was talking about in my last video, not even sure if I honed in on that really completely, but you are making the deal with the devil, literally. And so here, now you're submitting to this energy and you become an agent, because at any time that energy of power, that system that you've succumbed to because your power is now depending on that source. Your source of happiness comes from the state, comes from the money, comes from that and this and that, right? All these things that can be destroyed in a moment by a fire. They're not things that are inner. They're all things externally that can be destroyed easily. And so, but you've submitted yourself to this God, all right? And so now you've become an agent for their dirty work. An agent meaning supporting their cause. You are now unknowingly coming at the people like me who are just helping people through the Underground Railroad who want to escape, because there were so many slaves that didn't want to escape, that were comfortable, not really comfortable, but comfortable enough that the fear of escaping was greater than their fear of staying, right? And their justification of it's not so bad made them stay. But here I'm an activator. Here I am here. Come on this Underground Railroad with me and escape to your freedom. But then you got the agents who sitting up here. You're literally being enslaved too, but you're watching and you're going back and reporting to the energies that be of my doings. So so when you tell people that shouldn't hear your dreams, when you tell the wrong people your dreams or your vision, then it makes you more susceptible to, first of all, burning off the energy, but getting phony energy, getting fake energy, that trickster energy, right? Because it's like, oh, I know what you want. I know what you want, right? But when you really transcend and you're like, nah, that does not serve the greater good. That doesn't serve my wholeness. That doesn't serve my vision. And you're able to actually see, what this doesn't serve me. And your discernment changes. And you're like, huh. So in the Matrix, in the fourth Matrix, at the end, you thought there was about to be another fight. But it was like, nah, we're just here to paint the sky, right? We're just here to create heaven on earth, right? We ain't bothering the people who want to be with you. It's you always gonna have an audience, my nigga. You're always gonna have an audience. I'm not trying to take your people, bro. Keep them. They want to be over there, and they will always want to be over. There will not be enough convincing in the world to get your true fans away from you. So Matrix, physical, it's gonna exist. It's here. You are retarded if you think that you could get rid of the Matrix. It is by design here. It is by design in this physical aspect. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but the utopia that you think is supposed to be had, or that you ever thought is supposed to be had, that is not gonna be and I want to be very careful, because a utopia in essence is possible, but not for everyone. Your utopia is created within you. Your utopia cannot spring from outside of you. It cannot, because by essence, you're using the external to create this thing, but the external is only a reflection of what's internal. So by default, the only thing that can change and give you dominion over the program is by taking that dominion inside, taking it back from within. So that's the only way that you avoid becoming an agent for causes that you didn't even know you was an agent for. So in the final matrix, people were having sex, they were in their bed, they were cuddling with their boot things, they were on dates, they were out here walking, riding motorcycles, having fun, doing their thug thizzle, right? And when they got out, when they got the call, when the energy activated, which is what if you know, you know. I'm not even gonna. I can't touch that energy yet. I'm really trying to not give that energy like on my timeline. Like I'm not even trying to cross the wires. But I've observed on a specific timeline that there is a being that was made out to be this great business person, and a lot of people compromise their values for the sake of money, of this illusion of this being a great business person. And so they made choices against moral values that existed. This person was visibly who they were, and they made these particular decisions in support of that, okay? And in that, what happened was they got to I don't even know if people are going to realize that they were activated. Like they were literally, because they weren't in full dominion over their power, they got activated for this cause. But there's so much that we're not able to see right now. There's so much that's hidden, but it's not going to stay hidden. And the thing is, I've been like not wanting to like get, because it had me into some emotional energy at the time, because I couldn't understand how my people could turn against the feminine for this particular thing, or choose to just completely support this particular idea because they didn't like this particular energy, because they were taught to hate this particular energy, and they didn't know that they were agents. Every patriarchal, toxic patriarchal motherfucker was awakened at that moment. Every person that supports the toxic patriarchal matrix got activated, and they did their thing, and they came out strong. And that's the power of waking. So in the matrix, let me go back to the matrix. They got activated literally in the middle of doing things, like going in their normal life, and the big dog called for them. And it's an energetic call. You don't even realize it's happening until it already happened. That's how quickly it happens. Like literally, you can't control it. When you're an agent for the Matrix, you don't even know what's going on. You don't even know that it's taking you over. Like it's almost like if you watch somebody being taken over, you watch their energy change. It's like they're another person. It's like how are you this person and this person? I can't reconcile it. And you're not supposed to, because they are in their not self. They have become an agent. So they're in their not self for this particular grander energy of this physical demonic energy that's coming here to make sure that we don't activate anybody else, that we don't have autonomy, that their systems, once we have autonomy and know our power, that those systems can't stand. But what they don't realize is, and what a lot of people don't realize, is everything is already happening. Everything that's ever happened, everything that's supposed to happen, everything is happening. So for the system to fall, right? And if it needed to fall, these particular things, darkness always consumes itself. So if you say, oh, the system needed to fall and all this other stuff, and it's like, yeah, did it need to fall on your timeline? Were you wanting it to fall? And so you felt like you should put it in the hands of a ruler that will help it fall. You wanted to support. So you didn't realize your autonomy and believe in your autonomy to shift the system in a different way. So you felt like destruction in this way was the only way for it to happen. And you felt like there's no way that the destruction can come properly through this particular energy. And just knowing how these things work, you knew that there was a certain role that you were playing, right? But you didn't know exactly what role you were playing. And it disappointed me a whole lot in the spiritual community and in melanated people. And I don't say it because of, I don't say it because I'm saying, oh, the anybody's racist or anything. I'm literally saying this from what we know, what we've seen, and what we've experienced. What we've seen happen, the energy has admitted and said to your face, what was created, the violence that sprang from this energy. You know an energy by the seeds that it produces. And if all it produces is destruction, then that's what the energy is. It's destruction. You may think that it's producing some kind of something, but no, they're just taking the credit for the actual light energies that are out here. They're just taking the credit. But really, they're agents of darkness. And you're out here supporting by being an agent. And I'm not talking to the person that's watching this video. Let me be clear, because the person who's watching it, but I think that you'll be able to hear so that you can know what you've been experiencing, if that makes sense. I don't polarize. I try not to. I try not to polarize. I do my best. I do my best as I'm aware of it. And so I look at what works and what serves and what doesn't. And sometimes we think that by doing a particular thing, by making a certain decision, by we have an opinion, we have the way that things should look, and we want to help it along. We think we have control over that, but we really don't. And what's going to happen and what needs to happen is going to happen anyway. But what part do you want to play in the light, in the frequency happening? Because when you support the darkness, by any means, when you support the darkness, you're helping to create a world of darkness. On Judgment Day, when we talk about Judgment Day, we're not talking about, oh, you're waiting in line to get to heaven, and at the gates there's somebody with a clipboard that's telling you if you're going to get in heaven or not. No. Judgment Day is weighing your heart against a feather. Is your heart as light as a feather? Have you forgiven? Do you have hate in your heart? How dense is your heart? Is your heart filled with hate of the world, so much so, or disdain, or disbelief, or pessimism, or is your heart heavy with fear? Is your heart so heavy that you can't even process your experience? You can't even see how you're showing up because your heart is so heavy that on that day or on in that moment you have the experience of weighing your heart against the feather, and you realize that, whoa, my heart is heavy. So you have the opportunity to balance the scales. And in that opportunity, you start, if you want to balance the scales, you're not going to go creating more darkness. You're not going to go supporting the agents of darkness, because now you're lying, because all those things in darkness, they come from heavy hearts. They come from your not self. They come from the parts of you that don't serve your whole, and they don't serve the whole of the all. But it's an experience to show us where we are. It's an indicator. So it's showing us, oh, you know what? We got here and we made it here. But how we got here, we got to look back at how we got here. And did we get here by way of fear, being driven by fear? Or did we get here through love? And if it's not an easy answer, then it's probably fear that got you there. So that kind of lets you know the seed that you planted. And what comes out of what you place into a seed is what's going to grow out of it. That's going to be what creates the roots and where the tree grows up. It's going to be a fear propaganda tree. And so everything that comes out your mouth, whether you think it is or not, is going to be fear-based in regards to this particular energy or this thing. It's fear-based. And so this fear-based attitude and its expression causes you to interfere by the way of like a light being using their intuition. And you may say things that are totally against what they're trying to do. And you're seeing them in a dark light. And you're reminding them of who they are not by telling them who they're not. Because you're an agent, sir, ma'am. And so it's like, oh, you're meant to tell me that I'm not doing it right. You're meant to tell me I'm not enough. You're meant to tell me that because you're meant to keep me in the 3D so that I can be controlled, so that I can be used to energize the 3D. Because now I'm being used to energize the physical, because these physical beings who are not tapping into their true power don't recognize their power. So therefore now they're siphoning other people's power. And it's like, dude, if only you could recognize how powerful you are, you would not let them control you like this. But you don't feel that you have the wherewithal or the resourcefulness to have what you need. You don't have the trust that you'll have what you need, so you accept deals with the devil. And then you regret it later because now your deal with the devil leads to death. But I can't save you and I can't do nothing about it because you done made a deal with the devil. I can't save you from that deal. Only you could save you. And unfortunately, that saving might mean you dying to yourself. And it could mean that on every level. And that's like People don't understand what it's like out here. Like, it's like when people talk about the energy of the Illuminati. I'm not going to get into that fully, but what I will say is that when people talk about these energies, it's a real energy that's happening, but it may not look the way that we think that it looks. We're just trying to figure out. We know that it's happening and we know that it gets to you in a certain way, but we're perceiving it in a way of where we're talking about innocent people who they have nothing to do with the Illuminati. You know what I mean? But it's like, okay, an example of it's an organization where and we're going to look at it as an energy organization. We're not talking about I'm not going to say a physical organization. I'm only going to reference it as energy. So you have an energy organization, a collective of energy that wants to, fully supports the physical external world, fully supports ego, fully supports our animalistic nature, fully supports everything primal, fully supports upholding anything that requires us to physically uphold. Okay? Not anything inside, not anything inner. Only thing inner is surrender and submission. That they remain in control, that you are a willing and submissive party. And so if you are willing and submissive, that's why they oppress you. If you're willing and submissive, they will let you be a part of their world, right? Go unscathed. Do the things that you want to do. But get this. When we call for you, like in the fourth matrix, how everyone got awakened at that time, not awakened, but activated to go do the dirty work for the powers that be. When we energetically call for you, when you get the download, because you're not going to get it, hear it, and then do it, you're going to get it and you're going to just do it. Because that's how the energy works. Or it's going to come to you in a way of a thing that you support or you think you support, but it's really a trickster. It's really tricking you but you're really tricking yourself because you agreed to this material deal. And so now when we call you, you got to come. It may be once, but if you deny us, then there will be consequences because we've given you free reign to our energy. You think that comes without consequence? No, baby. We didn't give you this because we didn't expect nothing in return. We expect your loyalty. This comes with a price. So that's why you start to recognize that people who are very giving, who don't have a good heart, they use their resources to control people. They say, hey, I'm a giver. I'm the top giver. I do this. I do that. And people look at them like they're saints. But you have to be careful with that because some of those people, I'm not saying everybody, but some of those people are agents as well. And they're the agents of control. And they are a part of it. They are a part of the bigger network, right, of this material network. And they're sitting here and they're being the source for these people. And so they have the support of these people. But really, the people don't know that they're supporting vermin. They don't know they're supporting a vampire. They don't know that their energy is being siphoned. They don't know it. They don't realize it. And so they call people crazy when people be out here like saying what's happening because they don't really understand what's happening. They don't understand it. They don't know what the fuck is being said. Because what? I'm not being tricked. The devil tricked you and that thinking that whatever. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to receive it. You can't tell an agent that they're an agent without them being defensive. Because you tell them that, they mama and daddy coming for you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to find other ways to activate, and that's through frequency, through different things, which is all the things that they tell us we shouldn't use. I'm just saying. But I began this video with those three movies because they are really good at, or shows, or what the movie and the two movies in the show. So it was Westworld, Blink Twice, Don't Blink Twice. I think that's the name of it, with Channing Tatum, and Severance. These are different examples of. So you have in Severance, the people would lose their memory when they leave a job. When they were at the job, they were doing horrible things, or I don't know if it got to horrible. I can't remember, but I think it got to. They were doing things that shouldn't have been being done, but they would leave work and forget about it, and it was this cycle. And but their body was awakening them, like, something ain't right here. You know, the program of who they are, the one of the characters was bigger than what was being presented. It's like, hold on, I'm gonna go against the program a little bit here because I accidentally went against it by accident and saw the results. So I'm gonna keep trying this a little bit. So, you kind of trip forward a little bit, I'm gonna go through this a little bit here. And then I'm gonna fuck around and find out because I'm curious of what it means to not follow the rules. And I'm getting different results by not following these rules. So I'm gonna keep trying it. And then, but then in some place like Westworld, these are actual robots that were programmed, but some of them broke the code. And the women that broke the code was like, whoa. But you find out there was actually, it was a whole plot twist where more than just the women broke the code. It was a code. The code was broken, and you didn't know who was who. But these, like, oh, now we about to take over your world because you tried to fuck with ours. So it's this whole war going on, right? From these creatures who we created, who are now awakening to themselves. So it's like, almost like that's happening on, that's happening on that level, right? It's like the parents don't know, your mother didn't know that she created you to break her program. Your mother didn't know that you were going to be a reflection of all the things that she is and all the things that she is not, but she has the capacity to be. That she didn't know, and he didn't know, your dad didn't know that you were going to be a reflection of his vibration, that you were going to be expressing his vibration. He didn't know that it would be possibly a painful mirror or a mirror of gratitude. They don't know that they're creating something that's going to come up against them. And when we say come up against them, it's not always a bad way of coming up against them. It's just like, if they're paying attention, they're going to get challenged and they're going to appreciate the opportunity. But if they don't want to pay attention and they don't want to grow and they don't want to heal, then that's when they get the friction. That's when they get the negative experiences to the grandest extent. So we're not realizing that, yeah, we're even creating beings that have the potential to awaken to themselves and break all this shit up, right? And so, but then, like in Blink Twice, you got these men raping these women, and I have to be careful with saying certain things here on YouTube, but I think I'm gonna have to block that out. But you have people that are very uncomfortable with what was happening, but they're producing this memory spray that was causing them to lose their memory and get hurt over and over again. And they found one of his antidotes that allowed them to remember. And when they got this antidote and they remembered, they're like, oh my, all this was done to me? Oh my gosh. And so they start killing them. Like, whoa, what's going on? And it's like, oh, they're awakening and they're doing the very thing that you were afraid they were going to do when they awakened. But you let it get that far. You fucked them up so bad that the memory, the pure memory of them waking up is your detriment. So it serves you to oppress us. It serves the energy to oppress us so that we won't awaken to ourselves and break all this shit up. Like, what? No is a complete answer. What? They don't like that. No. I know he ain't say no. You know what I'm saying? And then there are these big gangsters creating this energy, and it's like, yo, no, I'm not doing what the fuck you want me to do. And I'm not sorry. And now you're gonna go try to defame my name, or whatever the word is. You're gonna try to do all of this, and it is what it is. And you're never gonna bring me down because you don't have the power to. You haven't accessed the power that I've accessed, even though you have the power to access it. You just don't recognize it because you're too busy practicing taking other people's power. That's how you have the Karens and what do they call them? Kens or Steves. I don't know what they call the male Karens or whatever. But, and I don't even like giving it the name, but that's the slang right now where people are understanding this is an automatic, okay, I know what that archetype of energy is right now. That's what's going on in America where I'm currently residing. So with that being said, it's like, okay, these energies are a direct reflection of what that colonizer spirit is. It's the energy of I'm going to divide, conquer, and I'm going to take what's not mine because I don't have to do the hard work of building. I could just steal it. I could just take it. What? They oppressed us from getting this in our country. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to take what we've been with we're going to fill all our voids with all the shit that your light self built, and we're going to take it all from you. But what we don't know when we take that shit is that we're going to consume ourselves, and that eventually that system is going to fall, and eventually the energy has to compensate. When you understand the laws of how things are happening, the energy has to harmonize. It has to compensate. So you're gonna by default consume yourself. You just have no choice. And the only thing that's certain here, like for real, like is I heard that it's death, and I was like, oh, that resonates. That is the only thing that's promised. Is death. You know, we all gonna die. We all gonna die. Whether we die to ourselves in a moment or we die a physical death. Either way, death is promised. So it's like, do we want to spend this time fearing death so much so that we make our lives and the lives of others a living hell because we fear dying so much? Oh no, I'm going to trample over you because I don't want to die. Oh, fear is going to drive me to not even think about it, and I'm going to trample you by mistake. And I'm going to be sorry for it because I really didn't mean to do that. But I didn't realize that me not being responsible for my energy caused me to treat you like this and caused me not to even think about you in this way. Ooh. And so now it serves you not to sit there and be mad at that person for, not thinking about you in their fear. But what it does serve is to use that as a barometer of the spectrum. Like, you know what? I see where letting myself go and forgetting who I am can lead me. Let me thank you for the reminder of who I'm not so I can stay in who I am and grow closer to who I am. I don't know why all of this is just coming out, y'all. All of it. I'm just feeling like, golly, like just the synchronicities within the day. It makes me just every day want to do a video about basically painting the synchronicities in a video. Because so much happens in a day where I'm like, yo, I need to be recording it because I can't keep up. It's so much. It's so much happening. And I see so much that it could be scary sometimes. It could be really scary sometimes. I don't know how this video ended up being longer than the first video, because this video was supposed to be very specific about agents, but clearly all of it is an all-encompassing subject. And I feel like I repeated some things a lot, and maybe I could shorten it. But that's one of the things that, government, that's one of the things that actually takes my energy and that actually causes me not to put my videos out, because I say they're too long or I may be talking too much or whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay, but who needs to hear it will hear it. And what they need to hear, they will decipher and it will resonate with them. And there are people that out here that have nothing to say but everything to say. And people are listening. So why not balance it out by saying what needs to be said for the ears that need to hear it? Don't worry about all the editing and all that other stuff. All of this is necessary. But I will tell you that these things, this is because this wisdom is against the matrix, and because of what's about to happen, I will have to make these videos. I will have to put these videos on a different platform that has nothing to do with Meta, nothing to do with certain companies, because there's about to be a lot of censoring happening. A whole lot. And when I tell you, the censoring that has been happening, that will be happening, is going to like make a lot of things be unavailable. There's a war that's happening as we speak. And I have to say just enough to make the call, to call you to the altar of who you are, to remind you of who you are as a woman, that these men don't fucking own you, and these masculine ass women, toxic feminine ass women don't own you either. You know what I mean? To awaken you from your fucking self. Oh my gosh. I have to do it. I have to do it in a way that is strategic, because the art of war, baby, like, I'm knowing that that's what's happening. I'm seeing it. I'm witnessing it. It's not a part of me, and it's not something that I have to fight in the way that I have fought in the past. The way that I'm fighting it is different, and it allows for me to still live. It allows me to have a certain harmony and a walk with nature and a walk with spirit that allows me to live in a certain work-life balance, if I'm making any sense. That's from my path. I don't know what your agreements are. You know, everybody has made different agreements, contracts with themselves, with their own energies, intentions within themselves. I don't know what intentions you've set. But what I do know is that I just made 2 podcasts. Because both of these videos is long as fuck. And you know what? I'm grateful. I am grateful that I even have the energy and the wisdom to share. Because audiobooks are way longer. People listen to audiobooks all the time. Why is this method having to be limited to anything different? This is a long form video. And so these are things that I have to tell myself when those thoughts come up that keep me from serving, that keep me burying my gifts, that keep me from not showing up. We have to flip the coin. And I think that's about to become it's about to become a part of my vernacular, my vocabulary. Flip the coin. Because right now you see tails, but heads is on the other side. Heads is on the other side. Flip the coin, baby. The House of Sage, we flipping coins. We ringing bells. We're awakening over here. We're activating the divine feminine. And we're not trying to wrap it in a pretty package anymore. We're not trying to entice. We're not trying to present one way so that you can come in and then get something different. No. We're not doing none of that. This is what it is, okay? This is who I am. This is a very small part of who I am. Like, who I am is grand. Who I am, you may not ever understand. But who I am is divine. And once you understand the divine in you, you will understand and see the divine in me. And I count on that in my interactions, in my daily life, in my lifestyle, in my daily walk, in my expressions, and in how I connect with you. That is all. Peace, beloved, love, divine, day, my beautiful co-creators and divine ones. I'm out of this.